Hello, hello. Welcome for another collab. We're here on Friday the 13th, welcoming someone pretty special. She probably will have a lot of insight on this day, maybe even. Okay, let me get her on here and we'll introduce our, yay. Okay, I don't know why. Yeah. She there? See, it doesn't. There it goes again. Okay. Yeah.
Did I do it?
We did it. Oh,
I did it.
I'm always so proud of us when we get
Right? Isn't that so funny? Like, I work on social media all the time, and every time I'm like, did I do it?
right. I know.
It's so funny.
Glitchy tech, so we can't. It's not us. It's not us all the time.
No. We can't take all the credit.
I know. We can't take all the credit for the glitches. Guys, hello, welcome. So I'm so excited we get to talk on this Friday the 13th with our very own alignment and energetics coach, Jacquelynn. And
say that one more. Say that. I'm sorry. It is glitchy.
And there might be a delay too. So
okay.
I've seen some pretty bad glitches on lives before. So I'll slow down so that we don't overlap if something happens. Welcome to everybody who's joining us. We've got our very own, tell me if I'm saying this right, alignment and energetics coach, Jacquelynn, with us from the account Spiritual Support System. You can see both of our accounts, so depending on where you're coming from, you might want to just click follow for both of us, so that you can stay in tune with all of our work and all the good stuff we have in store for you. Today we're going to talk about minimizing the hustle. Mm-hmm. But have Jacquelynn introduce yourself. Tell us about, how you got started in this business, what exactly you're doing, and how you're juggling babies in business.
I'm juggling so many babies. we have 5 total. So if anything, this whole interview should serve to any female out there, any woman, that you can do it. Because it can be difficult, but when you want something bad enough, you can definitely make it work. Mm-hmm. So my name is Jacquelynn Cotton, formerly Jacquelynn Pilcher. And ironically enough, I started in the marketing world. In corporate America, I was in marketing, advertising, social media, stuff like that. And I was not happy. I was not happy at all. I worked with typically a lot of guys who were just inappropriate. I was very stressed out at work. And in the meantime, I had my own businesses running in the background. So I've been freelancing for quite some time and I loved it, but I never fully believed in myself. And then after I was stolen away from one position at one company, they created a position for me in this other company. I was really excited about that, but it turned out that it too was I was miserable. My anxiety was high, my depression was high, all the things. And so I remember crying to and from work, just so miserable. And a blessing in disguise landed right in my lap. I was let go a week before Thanksgiving. And I kind of was just like, what the hell am I going to do? And I had no idea that the world was about to shut down. So I was just like, I never want to be humiliated like that again. And so I decided to take my businesses more seriously. And that's how I got into coaching. I was like, I've been coaching pretty much my whole life, just not getting paid for it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But the grand pivot happened earlier this year. I had this huge download and I was like, spiritual support system, holy crap. I don't know where that came from, but thank you. And we've just been rocking and rolling since. And the thing that I did differently this time, since we're going to get into minimizing the hustle here in a minute, was I went ahead and built the foundation very strong, something I could keep up with. But yeah, marketing background. I'm also a musician. I sing. Yeah, I'm very artistic, which it makes sense why I was not a good employee, because I was like, no, this is I can't do this. I have too much creativity, and you're trying to shove me in a box. And 5 kids. I'm married. I live out in Mississippi. Thus the accent. And I think I'm just a really overall well-rounded, fun, outgoing, and unapologetic little ball of fire individual.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, following your account, I love just everything you're putting out, the vulnerability, even the podcast, y'all. She's a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's good stuff. And I think just like you started us off, you can do it. It's proof you can do it. I think we're just aligned very much so in that way, that we are doing the mom thing, we're doing the entrepreneur thing. Sorry for any overhead noise. And we can do it, but it does matter, right? The foundation, the systems in place, whether or not it will take you over or you can take it over. It's almost run your business or have it run you.
Mm-hmm.
Moms, we can't afford to be thrown under like this onslaught of information and to-do lists and things like that too fast, too soon. We've got to know kind of what's coming at us, because we've got unexpected surprises every day with the babes.
Yep.
And you have a toddler, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and let's knock on, I don't have wood, let's knock on this brick. He's asleep. If at any point you hear a screaming baby, he's okay. He's just waking up. He has this weird way he wakes up and he just screams for no reason. So he's safe. That's all I'm saying, y'all.
He's safe.
But yeah.
Same, right? Our babies are napping, so we could do this live.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk some of just how are you minimizing the hustle? What's in place for you? And even if it's not all the way together, guys, we're not gonna always have it perfect. Sometimes, like if baby wakes up and our system is that we work during nap time, then that has to get adjusted and you know our and rescheduled even. I think having a community around us that gets that and supports that and wants that same compassion, reciprocity, like, you know, that's the kind of community that I'm all about. So what do you feel like is a system, a process, a ritual that you feel like you're putting in place that's really grounding you to like, okay, I'm not gonna hustle my way through this?
Yeah. And I'll be the first to admit I do sometimes fall into those old habits, and I'm like, but that's where the alignment and the energetics works comes in. Being able to have that self-awareness that when you're doing it, crap, I'm doing it again. Let me scale back. So I do want to start out by saying I'm no perfectionist. Like I definitely have my faults, but really it's a matter of having that awareness and being able to create a schedule and systems that works for you. So for me, because with alignment and energetics coaching, it's really just transformational coaching for people in life or in their business, which they go hand in hand if you're an entrepreneur, right? And I tell everybody, and this is the same for me, that nobody's okay, that nobody's routines are going to look the same. So like I give myself grace. That's a big thing. And I do work in the windows that I can. And I think that's really important. I think that what's important is having a calendar, having somewhere where you keep up with what you're doing so that, you know where your time's going. You're paying attention and you're being mindful to your time versus like thinking you're busy doing work and really you're just like pinning stuff to Pinterest, ideas. Oh, I like that motivational quote. I'm inspired, but like you never do anything with it. So for me, I make a lot of lists. I have my journals. I have my calendars, and I have several, like I have different calendars. I have, you know, my calendar that's my personal stuff. I have my calendar that's my business stuff, but I have it so that I can see all of them. And I sync those with my assistants' calendars so they know what I'm doing and they remind me. And they, so even on the days that I'm like, oh crap, I fudged something, they're like, oh no, you got a meeting at this time. I'm like, oh my God, okay, great, thanks. So a big thing is the scheduling, the giving myself grace, and the even like allotting time for in my schedule. This is time dedicated to my kids. This is time that I'm not going to have my phone. That's helped me a lot. So I think that if it's not in the schedule, like you can kind of lose sight of what you're doing. And then if you're not keeping up with what you're doing, then that's when the hustle starts. You're in this like endless cycle because you're not actually tracking what you're doing. So that's helped me a lot. Otherwise I will work and work and work until I feel like everything's complete. And the reality is we can't do it all in a day. So it's like, just make things digestible, do a little bit each day, especially if you're just starting out. I think it's really important that you just take a little piece at a time and like maybe do research one day and then the next day dedicate yourself to doing, you know, a little bit more research. And so that's helped me to help minimize the muscle. Sometimes I just really take advantage of the moments of inspiration. They don't come all the time, but when they do, they're good. They're like really good. And I can produce so much material in that short amount of time versus like forcing myself to sit down and try to come up with all this stuff, you know? So I take advantage of those. And the biggest thing that has helped me minimize the hustle is having help.
Yeah.
The things that I don't enjoy doing, the things that take me too much time, the things that I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to go back and check it 1,500 times because I'm hard on myself. Delegate. Delegate. Because there's somebody out there who they love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And they can do it much faster and they can probably do it better than you.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of it is being big enough to realize I can't do it on my own and that I do need quality help. And so all those things have helped me. And I want to throw this in there before we end this question. Self-care. That's a ritual for me. That is something that I'm like, I tell my husband, I have to have time. I have to have time to myself to recharge. And he understands because he knows. And ladies, just ask for the time. Just schedule it in. Like if you have a calendar, just put it on the calendar and say, this is when I'm doing something. Do it. And then the second they act like it's a problem, let them see how you act when you don't get your self-care. And they will also prioritize it, I've found out. So it's a lot of scheduling. It's a lot of putting everything in the calendar, which I think moms already do. So if you can get structured with that, you can block time. You can, you know, get the time in with your kids. That's why I think it's important to even schedule that. Like, I know this is the time I'm dedicating to my kids because that quality time sometimes surpasses the quantity time, you know, because you're zoned in. And the same with work. You know, if you were to act on the inspiration and just block out time and say, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to doing this, you'd probably get 10 times more work done than you would an entire day sitting at your desk forcing it. So that's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Schedules are huge here with me too. I've got a family calendar because, you know, I need Hubs to know like this is happening this day, and then him to let me know what he's kind of looking at for the calendar. So there's kind of that agreement. And then, yeah, if I am like, okay, I'm going to yoga, or I'm just like, I'm unavailable during this time, at least once a week. I know that's probably not even a lot, but I try to do it within the daytime and after the kids are down to like fit my self-care time. But if I just need to like leave the house or skip, I'm just like, okay, one night a week at least, I'm not going to do the bedtime routine. It's, you know, you need to disengage mentally with these laborious acts, you know, and they're very mentally taxing and physically tasking, like, right? They ask a lot of our bodies, they ask a lot of our minds. So I think the calendar, hands down, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. You know, and my kids work like clockwork, thankfully, with, you know, their schedule for the most part. So I can, you know, we kind of fit this thing in, but we're passionate enough to where we don't want to give it up. I know postpartum, it's so demanding, that time, and just being present to the babies is like really what's so important. Scheduling things less and less. So when I had my kids, I wasn't doing a lot of private coaching. I had my group system, and I was just trying to like weave in some of the private coaching clients into that, so that I could just have more time, right? In that fourth trimester, you just really have to take your foot off the gas. I just did a training on Monday about this exact thing, what we were talking about. And then when inspiration hits, it's like, what do you do? Maybe I'm not near a notepad or whatever. I'm like voice memos. I just, hey, Siri, you know, make a note, and I put it in there if I'm not able to attend to it, right? Because there's so many times that we'll just kind of have these inspirational downloads and want to like act on it, but you can't always. So there's got to be a system even for that.
All right, the baby has woken up, so I think we may change environments.
Oh,
But there's no shame here.
no.
We mamas know. We mamas know. Hi, baby. Does your child wake up and do this at all? Just screaming for no reason?
Happens sometimes with my oldest one, not my youngest. My youngest is pretty chill. I feel like if he did wake up in the past crying and screaming, it was either, I don't know, a bad dream, gas, something that he just kind of wasn't familiar with. It just kind of like, you know. So I don't know. Maybe it's not a nightmare, right? I always wonder, are they waking up from nightmares or?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe he has night terrors. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I'm hoping he grows out of it, but we'll see.
Yeah. I know. I think it's environment, like if he's napping, which I think is a beautiful thing, if he can adjust the like napping in light, bright lights.
Mm-hmm.
That means he can like dark.
Yeah.
Somewhere dark.
Yeah. No, he's one of those that, like, if he has his mama, he can pretty much fall asleep wherever. But then it's just the waking up and realizing I'm not there. Mm-mm. He's not going to have that. But yeah, he's something else.
Yeah, I call nursing while I was doing the call. You know, because just you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I mean, that may be what I'm doing right now.
I know.
Oh man.
I was stop weaning so long because I didn't want to risk the ability to be like, okay, I can calm him. Even if I'm on a call, I can calm him with my boob. But then I was like, no, we've got to wean. We have to figure it out. But yeah, it's all, I mean, you have older ones, so it's like some reminiscent, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So our oldest, which is my husband's son, he's 14. So it's very interesting, like, seeing the full spectrum, I feel like. Like, he's not a man yet, but I'm getting a glimpse of what it's going to be like having a grown man and then still calling him son. It's weird. But and then the baby, who is my little miracle baby. I always wanted another baby. My daughter, they're what, 8 years apart. So like I waited for a minute. I waited for a hot minute. And it's just really cool seeing how they all like blend together and seeing the different ages and seeing them help him, and it's pretty beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That have the big gap, a few, and they've got the gap, and then the older ones just come and help, and you know, and that's their outsourcing, are their own kids. I mean, they don't need the
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the siblings. One of my 10x, like you were saying, delegate. One of my 10x tools to really like skyrocket your business is when you start to hire out. And I think advertising is also a way of hiring out, for sure. Hiring out that sales, right? That sales arm of your business. But even before that, like having an assistant, I think that was key for me. Then the nanny, yeah, and then ads when I am doing some type of promotion. But yeah, I would say those hires are essential for me. What about you?
Oh yeah. No, I would not be functioning without my assistants. I'm definitely someone who I'm an overachiever and I have extremely aggressive goals. And so like I don't have just my coaching business. I have an agency, and then I have a mom brand, and I have the podcast, well actually two podcasts. So it's like in order to make all this work, I have to have help, you know. So it is the lifeline. And I told myself when I got back into business, when I got back into coaching, when I had my grand pivot, I was like, I'm going to do it right this time, because every other time, and I feel like somebody out there needs to hear this. Every other time that I had a business and I wanted to build it, I got stuck in this whole, it wasn't happening fast enough. It wasn't happening the way I expected it to, because in the online space, we see so many people out there and they appear to be killing it, you know, but that isn't always like the thing. They're not always killing it. Like you can literally be anybody you want to be online. So I got really down on myself almost every time I had a business, and it would go for a year or two and it wouldn't move the way I wanted it to. And I would just make all these mistakes and I beat myself up. And so I was like, I realized that I needed to offload the things that are just kind of driving me crazy. And so that was one of the first things I did, well before I even had, you know, clients to pay for my assistance. I was like, I'll just make up the extra hours. I'll work a little bit extra, because like my hourly contract job that I do, it pays pretty well. I was like, so a few hours extra a week is nothing, just so I can hire out. And I found two amazing, amazing women in the Philippines that almost speak English better than we do. And they are just, oh my gosh, the heart and soul of my business. They are so incredible. I love them. And it made it to where and I think a lot of people don't think about this, outsourcing overseas. It made it to where I could help not one, but two families with the money we have here that goes so much further there.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got hooked, honestly. I was like, I'll find something for you to do. I love y'all so much. But without them, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to manage all the clients I have, all the social media clients, all the content creation clients. I wouldn't be able to be in every single account engaging with, you know, their ideal audiences, because I can't be everywhere at once. So yeah, it's like, I consider it the foundation of my business is having help. But I know that not everybody starts there or can start there. So um, I think there are still ways to do it. Like Fiverr and stuff is really inexpensive to get you started. But if you find yourself, like I did, hating, that's a really strong word, but like hating or despising doing certain things, I'd say it's well worth the money, especially if you can find someone where like the US dollar is worth a lot more and they're really good, honest, hard workers, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in the Philippines, their native language, or not native, their political language, government language, their first language is American. Like they are not American, English. They all know English. So yeah, I think some might be better than others depending maybe on the access to education. I don't know. But that is why I think Philippines are great options for that. And then sometimes there's the question of, you know, what do you give them first? I think Jacquelynn had a really great idea, the stuff that you hate. Start to get that off your plate, because you want to free up your time as visionary, as CEO, as founder, to continue to think of new great ideas for traffic with your marketing team, whatever. And then just kind of be in that kind of new business, new pitch, new whatever frame of mind. So, and then the team can help execute all the details.
Yep.
The mom brand. Let's hear about the mom brand.
Well, it's called Lost Moms Club. I was going to show y'all my shirt, but my son is on one of my breasts. So, but Lost Moms Club, you can find us on Instagram. And so in my coaching ventures, I have met some of the coolest women ever. Like my clients are, they are just so badass. They really are. And I met this one, her name is Katie. And, she just messaged me out of the blue one day and she was like, I don't even know what you do, but how can I work with you? And I was like, oh crap. Okay. So we started working together and we spent the 6 months working together and we became pretty much best friends. We met in New Orleans in August of last year was the first time we got to hug each other, but we'd been talking and following each other for years. And then at my spiritual business retreat, that was this August in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina, we were there and we had been talking about the Lost Moms Club and we'd gotten some shirts and we weren't really sure what we were going to do with it. But essentially, we were just talking to each other one day and we were like, for some reason, mentioned a donut and donut doesn't have a hole. Why do we feel like donuts? And we were like, it is missing. Like it feels like a part of us is missing. Are you still there? It's doing something weird.
It got blurry on your end. I don't know if mine is. It's clearing up. Your face is clearing up, but it did lose.
All right, I'm gonna wait a second because your face just has a ring around it.
Oh.
But if you can hear me, I guess we're okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, but we came up with this concept and we decided that we were gonna essentially find all of the other mamas out there that also feel maybe a little lost in the world. You know, the moms that feel weird or like an outcast or like black sheep, or because I've been told I'm weird or unique, or I've always been like this big dork and I just don't quite fit in. Like I've never followed the crowd. And I know that there's a lot of mamas out there that also feel that way. So we're like, there ought to be a club. And it was a whole joke. We're like, oh yeah, let's get t-shirts made. And we were like, oh shit, hold on. That actually sounds kind of cool. So the idea, right? Yeah. So the whole idea is we have shirts, and we're forming this big like club around the world, and we're planning our first like retreat, but it's not going to be like one of those retreats where we're expected to be perfect. Like we can eat junk food if we want to. We're going to go do stupid shit, like go down water slides and just be the big old kids, the weirdos that everybody picked on, and we're going to be those people together. And we're going to just come together and like find all the moms that belong to this club. Because there's so many of us that just feel so lost. Like we don't belong. And we're like, let's try to fix that. And so that's the foundation of Lost Moms Club.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Your cohort there. So that all sounds great. So if you guys are all interested in what Jacquelynn's got going, I'll have her say how we can work with her, how we can find her stuff. But ultimately, I think it's cool that what you're building, this empire that you're building, has a lot of like cross sections. And so, with the Moms Club, the Moms brand, and then, your coaching business, I think you'll see a lot of crossover. And I'm honestly huge in like, where do things intersect? Because that's where you can simplify, whatever that means. But tell us how, so you can get back to baby, tell us how we can work with you, find out more about you.
Sure. So if you would like to work with me as far as coaching, it's mostly spiritual business and life coaching, but my modalities is we focus on finding alignment, and that's through energetics, quantum physics, rewiring the brain. And really, kind of wiping your subconscious clean as if you were just a brand spanking new soul, and identifying like who it is you want to be in life, in business, in relationships. Because the work we do with energetics, like you create this whole energetic field and you bring everything in. So the way to work with me there is you just find me on this account, actually. Just send me a DM. That's going to be the easiest way. Or you can find my website, which is www.spiritualsupportsystem.com. And I also have a free community on Facebook. If you just type in Spiritual Support System, you can find it there. Agency work, again, just DM me if you need someone to create content, badass content for you. I have a whole team that'll do that. And then I have my podcast. What was that?
Marketing agency.
Yeah. Marketing agency, yes. Everything from content creation to engagement to emails, everything. And then what was the last thing? Oh, I guess just if you'd like to be a guest on a podcast, you can always get in touch with me. And I think that the easiest way for people to contact me is just through the DMs, unless you want to go to my website, or my email address is just my name, JacquelynCotton@gmail.com.
Easy. Yeah. Or just, we're all about simplifying here.
Yeah.
Her assistance will point the way for you. Jacquelynn, this has been so nice. Thanks for just being on and being open to being interrupted and by helicopters and whatever, and babies crying. Thanks to everyone who's joined. Let's keep working on minimizing the hustle.
Absolutely. It's been so great. Thank you for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on. Peace.
Bye.